You know, America has a racial hot seat. I think we can all agree that that's the truth. And we can also agree that that hot seat is traditionally occupied by African Americans in general, African American men in particular. Although I can see that in recent years, that seat has been occupied by Mexicans, and I dare say Arabs. And we, the Black Americans, would like to thank you both for your sacrifice and your struggle. We needed a break. We all go through something, but at least I can leave my backpack someplace. If you Arab and forget your backpack, you got about 20 minutes before they send that robot to blow your shit up. You can kiss all that engineering homework goodbye, Fuhad.
Yo, easily. I said this earlier, Heather B. If Michael Jordan defined the era in basketball, so does he when it comes to comedy and social commentary in my book. I actually see myself in what I do as I see him and what he does.
Wow.
I think we're cut from the same cloth, children of this culture, hip-hop culture, for a long time, not allowing ourselves to be pigeonholed and be marginalized. And he's shown us that art doesn't have to have limitations. A very educated man comes from an educated background and made us laugh at things that make us sad and make us sad about things we once laughed about. Constantly entertaining. But I think something that stands out about this man that I most not only took note of, but also been inspired by and let me know that, man, I think I could do this without compromising myself or compromising my integrity. When that man walked away from all that money, you know, to stand up for something he believed, bigger than the money, because the money came back, you know, triple fold probably by now. Netflix got off a lot of money to him. So he made back that deficit. But he showed us that you do not have to sell out what you believe in your beliefs in order to be successful at what it is you're trying to do. For that, I commend you. Not just the jokes, not just the movies, not just, you know, the events. But for that, I really commend you. The one and only Dave Chappelle is here.
Thank you, bro. Oh, my God.
That was amazing, bro.
That was maybe the nicest thing that I've ever heard somebody say about me.
Yeah, really?
Yeah,
man.
I was like, I hope my eulogy's that good.
Man, I'm here for you if you need it.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
And with him is Donnell Rawlings.
I'm not even gonna go there. I know it's all about Dave, but I timed that intro. The times I've been saying, y'all know him, he don't use lotion. Ashley, okay, going to a break.
Yo, but man, look who you brought with you, man. Can you introduce Frederick?
Oh yeah, this is Frederick Yane.
Yes.
Fred, arguably the best harmonica player on earth, I'm gonna say.
Dude, did you bring the harmonica? Man, dude, just real quick, Dave, you don't mind if we do this?
No,
right?
yeah, he's got bars. He's got bars.
You don't gotta move, I gotta move.
Yeah.
No, you don't have to move.
Oh, you do something, man. And he's the one that plays in your opening, right?
No.
That's not that?
No, Fred. I met Fred. He's my publicist's husband.
Oh shit!
And he just happens to be like wildly nice on the harmonica. We just did a movie together too.
What was the movie? Can't talk about it. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
They just flagged you. They just flagged you. Don't say it. Don't say it. All right. Well, you know what? Hold on for a second. Okay. Hold on, Donnell. I don't want Donnell to get pissed off.
Nobody puts baby in the corner.
So how you been, Dave?
Yo, Sway, I'm in a very good place in my life right now.
Okay.
Largely, in part, about what you were talking about in the intro. Like everything worked out. The parable of Dave Chappelle, at least temporarily, has a happy ending.
Yeah.
And I think that's important for me, but it's important for everybody that was following what happened to me. I'm very glad that this Netflix thing worked out. And I've been bawling.
You've been balling.
Yeah, I've been having a swell time.
How does because you weren't always balling.
No, I was budget balling.
You was budget balling, and now you balling. How has this newfound success in financial success? How has that changed how you think about money and finances?
Well, the best thing I think money has done for me is giving me a false sense of security. But a false sense of security is better than no sense of security.
Yeah.
It just feels good not to worry about money. So I'm enjoying that. It's an amazing gift to my life, and I don't know, I don't know what could happen tomorrow, but I enjoy today and see how it goes.
I'm looking at you, and I'm looking at guys like Kevin Hart and guys like Marlon Wayans, and there's comedians up on our show every week. I love giving comedians like this platform, and it seemed like it's another explosion happening with comedy. Can y'all tell the difference?
Yeah, I think it's. Well, you go ahead, Donnell. What do you?
I think everything at a certain time things switch over. I think maybe like every 10 years. You know what I mean? You get used to something, you get tired of it, and then something that's new on the horizon comes on, and it shocks everybody. The Dave Chappelle show. Dave Chappelle was a phenom, continued to be a phenom. Kevin Hart right now is a phenom, continued to be a phenom. But one thing I could say, and I mean not just because he's a colleague and my boss, whatever, but it's you can be hot for a second, but to maintain relevance in this business and speaking, this is in regard to Dave, 30 years in the business, and still to be able to entertain people that's older, young, and everything. That's the testament of like what you said at the beginning of it, like what he's done for comedy. And I'm proud to call him my friend and my boss on certain occasions.
Oh,
You're
thanks,
sucking
bro.
a lot of dick right there.
Oh
God,
you know
man.
what?
I've never heard you sound like that.
And you know what? And you know
My
what? And you know
God.
what? And you know what? There's some, no, figuratively speaking, there's some truth behind that, because you see me come up here a million times and you've never heard me talk about anybody like that. So if the listeners want to say,
you don't even talk about Dave when you come up here.
Are you speaking of that? Heather B don't even dress like this when I come on the show. And speaking of Heather B, ain't even supposed to be here today. Speaking of that, you know what I'm saying?
Good point.
So,
yo, honestly,
when we talk about
I called Heather and said Dave might come through tomorrow. Heather's on vacation, Dave.
Are you? Oh, that's dope.
She came to, yeah.
And it's so funny because yesterday she called me. She'll call me every once in a while for cooking advice and stuff like that, right?
What?
It is always like, what grease should I use to fry this? You know what I'm saying? And she just, it was a regular conversation. I was like, so what you trying to decide on what you going to wear because of tomorrow? She didn't know what I was talking about. So that's my girl. I'm glad she broke her vacation and come up here today.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Hey.
But to answer the original question, there is a comedy explosion.
Yeah, okay, yeah, right? I mean,
you know what I think it is, though, partially? I think that everybody is so disconnected or buried in their phones that one of the reasons comedy is top genre is because of how we engage the audience.
Okay.
It's a very confrontational art form. It's all up in your face.
Yeah.
You got to listen, you got to look. You have an actual rapport. It feels nice to be in a comedy club and feel something.
Yeah. You one of the things we found interesting, because we came and saw you where were we done now?
Toronto.
In Toronto.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we came and saw you in Toronto, Heather, and I was at that show.
Oh, that was fun.
That was a dope ass show. And the first thing they do is they take your phones.
That's the new shit.
At his shows.
Yeah, at his show, you can't have a phone, and they locked it up. That's the first time. Did you come up with that?
I started working with this company Yonder, and it maybe saved my career. Because basically, comedians, we need the element of surprise, and you also need a sense of security that you can make a mistake. A lot of comedians been hitting the wall. Bill Maher wrecked the other week, and Kathy, motherfuckers wreck. It's part of the genre, though. Like you don't want comedians to not take chances in this new world of precision, of social precision, where everyone's talking and living like fucking politicians. I'm not running for anything, nigga. I'm going to say whatever the fuck I want to say. And sometimes I'll be wrong, and many times I'll be right. But you have to have the freedom to do it. So I lock people's phones up because it empowers me to do a better show and to be more honest and not just precise.
Be more honest and not just precise. You mentioned Kathy Griffith. She hit a wall when she held the president's head up, and
which was a rough one.
That was a rough one. That was
one.
difficult for everybody.
Not for everybody.
A lot of people. Bill Maher got too comfortable and said he was a house nigga, right?
Right.
But you apologize for what you, well, not apologize, but took back what you said on SNL about President Trump. That's the kind of reverse wall.
I did it. But that was just like, it was taken out of context.
Okay.
I didn't ingest. I think what I said on Saturday Night Live was exactly what needed to be said at that time.
Okay.
And that there was no recourse. This motherfucker is a duly elected president. You can march up the street all night. That's how the system works. And our person didn't win this time. So be it. You still want the president of the United States to do a good job. But he's clearly having a rough go of it. and I made mention of that at another show. And I said it in front of a crowd of people that I'm sure many of them probably know him personally. Some of them probably donated money to his campaign. They were caked up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But, I didn't actually apologize for saying that. It was funny. I was like, I fucked up. I shouldn't have said that. It was a funny thing to say. But it's not the exact sentiment I feel.
That's an apology. Wasn't an apology.
Wasn't an apology.
Oh, Sway!
Greatest moment in radio, by the way. Greatest moment in radio.
I had that locked for like ever, dog.
That was the greatest moment in radio.
Greatest moment in radio.
Yeah.
You like that day?
I thoroughly enjoyed that.
What did you like about it?
Well, Kanye did this thing where he had like a slow boil. And while you were talking, you could see Ye boiling. And it was, which was endearing. And then you could see that frustration. It was a very honest moment. And then you guys flared up for a second. And then everyone remembered that everything was going to be okay. It was just it had a very complete arc to it. It was
magic.
Wildly. That's exactly what you want to have happen on the radio.
Sure. Well, I'm glad, man, and I'm glad we can entertain you, man.
Yo, man, your show was great. There's a kid. I live in Ohio. There's this kid. Every day I see him, all he wants to do is rap. That's all he talks about. That's all he dreams about. He makes these beats. I actually used one of his beats in one of my specials, but then I cut it out.
I'm dying.
Why you cut it out?
Just because I couldn't clear it. He had a sample in there that was expensive to clear, and there's some technical shit. But the kid's like an earnest kid. I like when he's around because he really loves hip hop music, and he looks up to people like you like a giant. And he drove to Detroit, and you let him freestyle on the radio.
Oh shit!
Yeah. And it was one of the proudest moments of his life. And then Kweli ended up doing a song with him.
Wow. So it went full circle.
Yeah, it was real nice. Anyway, you do that one morning for somebody and you'll forget about it, but you don't understand that this guy, this was like a pinnacle of his current repertoire of achievements.
Wow.
Like just being around you, like the things that you do for people, the things that you do for culture. Like I see some of my opening acts like Donnell, like Ali Wong, she blew up off this. Now I'll be opening for her. You know what I mean? Wow. And it makes me feel proud to see, like, there's people coming up. Well, I forgot why I brought that up.
No, but I liked it because it sounded good to me. All right. Well, people feel the same about a similar way about you. We had Chris Rock up here, and we do this thing called Battle of the Best, and we have the guests sit their name in the bag and say who you think is better, and then your name came up, and this is what Chris Rock had to say.
Yo, man. The only man that puts fear in my heart on stage is Dave motherfucking Chappelle.
Wow. That's big coming from you. Thanks, Chris.
Put fear in your heart.
I'm like, all right. I still might have to take him out, but my adrenaline's going.
Yeah.
Like Dave Chappelle's a beast.
Wow, man.
That's
crazy. And it's funny. I think he's going to actually take you out on August the 5th, right?
The 5th and the 6th.
And the 6th. But how does that make you feel to have, like, who is it that you would, like, be apprehensive about going on before or after?
I don't know. Evil Knievel or some shit. But every once in a while you'll be backstage. Yeah, sometimes Donnell be on stage and he'll open the show. And I'll hear the crowd screaming. I'm like, God damn. Like, I remember in Atlanta the other week, every night he got a standing ovation. And I would tell him, if they stand up tonight, you're fired. And I see him walk that tight. We was fucking around. But it was like, it's fun, though. Like, when a comedian does real well in front of you, it's still like a fun, it's not even competitive's not the right word, but it's exciting to see a guy or girl go up there and rip it, and then you got to go on after him. And can he do it? It gets less suspenseful as the years go on. You know what I mean? So, but any given night, your number could be up, and every once in a while, there's a crowd that has your number, or your bag of tricks doesn't work. But most of the time, if they buy a ticket, they want it to work, and they're with you. You just got to bring it all to fruition.
I know me, as far as the comic coming to D.C., and there's a lot of great comics coming out of D.C., we used to pride ourselves on that, and that's how you got your name. It's
that's
like,
very true.
You know, like you would be on the open mic list. When I first started, people were like, oh, yeah, we're going to put you behind so-and-so and see how you do. But you felt good knowing that you would be challenged to take your game to the next level. It's the same thing like with boxing, whatever, you know. Muhammad Ali, Larry Holmes was his sparring partner.
Who was the first guy that blew you off the stage?
I don't think I ever got blown off the stage.
Oh, wow. He's conceited. He's conceited.
No, I felt some heat. In D.C., at that time, you'd already left, but Teddy Carpenter was one of those
Tell the truth. I know that.
Yeah, Teddy Carpenter's one of those dudes that would like really bring it to you. I've took some L's.
I'll tell you who got me. Remember Chris Thomas?
Yeah.
Destroyed me. I'd only done stand-up like 4 times. And they were like, we're going to put, Chris Thomas by this time must have been doing stand-up like, what?
42 years.
Yeah, like he's
100 now. No, I'm joking.
He's been doing it, man. And they were like, Dave, we're going to put Chris up next. And then the MC literally goes, you can go home if you like.
Oh, my God.
And I was like, I'm staying. I bombed. It was the worst. I dry mouth bombed. You ever get bombed so bad that you get thirsty?
Part of that was probably, but you were like, I think part of that is because you were like a young comic. You didn't have the experience of knowing how to transfer that energy from one comic to the next.
That's exactly. It was a lack of experience. So cut to like years later, this is when we were all doing like Def Comedy Jam tours. And we were at Madison Square Garden. The show was Chris Thomas, Chris Tucker, and they made me close. Man, I murked that shit.
Yeah, but you was ready then.
That was my Karate Kid tournament night where I was like,
I do remember it wasn't a comedian, but years ago they had a show called Apollo Comedy Hour, and at that time the comedians, they didn't really care about they weren't that important. Like the comedians, they would put them on any slot. So it was a day where they had turned the audience over 3 times to just change the seats. And they kept pushing me back. I was probably only doing comedy for 5 months. And then it was like, we got a special guest. Biz Markie came in.
oh, dope.
Biz Markie came in and just did a guest spot. Biz Markie came in, destroyed the room, and it was so funny because people was leaving after he left. It was like, we got this new comedian from DC, right? I was like, y'all not gonna do this to me, and because I knew that you couldn't curse, right? My first 2 minutes was like, fuck this shit, don't tape this shit, don't, and it was it. But Biz Markie blew me out the water.
A rapper took you down.
Yeah, took me down hard.
Dave did that to me.
Oh,
Me?
You.
Where?
Donnell Rawlins invited me
Why
to
you had to
a
say
tape
my
because
whole
it
name?
was you.
All right.
Donnell Rawlins
like a police
invited
officer.
me to a taping of the Chappelle show. Donnell and I were working together with Ricky Lake. I go down there. He said, yo, we doing a taping tonight. I'm opening up. I was like, oh, my gosh, I haven't seen Dave Chappelle since. Dave actually came to the first season taping a Real World reunion with a comedian named Dave. He was there in the hotel hanging out, had a good time. I was like, oh, my gosh, he may remember me. So I go and I'm sitting in the audience. Dave comes out and was like, oh shit, Heather B. All Glocks down. Let's battle right now. And I look in this heat, fuck a dry mouth. The heat came over my body. He was like, lock the doors. You're not leaving until we freestyle on stage. And I was just like, no, he's like, you sucker MC. I was like, yo. I said, oh shit. Yo, I felt you suck, Dave.
We have a good time, you know? We have a good time.
He did that to me.
That was, we have fun, man.
It was fun.
I miss doing the show sometimes. I don't know that I could ever do it again. It's like the hours, and then the context is so different now.
Difference. Like since back then, the world's changed, right?
Yeah. There was no smartphones then.
Yeah.
I remember after I quit my show, and I was in San Francisco, and someone just gave me tickets to Macworld. And I sat in the front, I was by myself, and I watched Steve Jobs introduce the iPhone. And had I known what he was doing, I would stuck a pencil in his chest and tried to save humanity.
That's real.
Yeah. Jesus Christ, I mean, the world is a totally different place.
Yeah.
And as those phones get bigger, we all get dumber. I haven't read a book in years, yet I consume itty-bitty hors d'oeuvres of information all day, every day. Yeah. Everything, like every few minutes I know what Trump's doing. I fucking hate this world like this. Yeah. It's just too much information.
Too much information. You commented on Key and Peele. I know it was.
I did do that.
You did do that. Have you seen them since?
No, but I'll tell you this, and I've said this publicly. I'm not mad at them, like, at all. That was more a jab at the network. Because I know what I fought to do with Chappelle's show. I know how they resisted the formula that ultimately became the show, and then I watched them parcel it out to all kinds of different comedians. We'll try with this one. We'll try with that one. You know, they did everything but what I think was what could have been correct. What could have got me back. So, but it's not a slight against them. As a matter of fact, Jordan Peele's movie is a fucking masterpiece.
Yeah, Get Out.
Yeah, I love that movie. And Donnell, even my witness, I have a Get Out party. I did. We got a movie. We rented a movie theater. We got Get Out. We put a PA system in there, and we heckled the movie like Mystery Science Theater 3000. And it was great. I mean, you know, everybody was shit-faced. It was real late at night. It was after the show, and it was really fun. And I mean, it's why I would go to the movies to see that shit like that. So I like the work that they do, and I respect the work they do. I respect them.
Would you work with them if the situation was right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. If the situation was right, I'd do all kinds of shit.
Okay. Shit. We can make it pop.
I wanted to ask because we've seen people get upset at these rappers who don't respect the people that came before them. You know, they're like,
"Which man went on bad booty?"
That's DB right there, man.
Yo.
What that went on bad booty?
No, but we've seen people like Lil Yachty who said he didn't care about Biggie because he didn't grow up with him, or Kodak Black who said he was better than Tupac and Biggie. But if a comedian said that, would you feel the same way that they needed to respect? You know, if somebody said I'm better than Richard Pryor or Eddie Murphy isn't that great?
No, I don't care about that. You know why? Because I know comedy's a weird genre. I know deep down every comedian thinks that comedy is all about them. Every single one of them. For a comedian to stand in the back of the room and watch another comedian, it's almost like watching somebody fuck your girlfriend. And you like, yo, I fuck her better. You're not doing it right. It's awful. They get jealous. You'll hear people hate on like a guy like Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart is a wonderful person. There's nothing wrong with him. But guys feed themselves this kind of gunpowder because, you know, it takes so much. You know, comedians are insecure people a lot of times, socially awkward people a lot of times. A lot of those guys are fucking miserable dudes. And they need to believe that. And some of them vocalize it, some of them don't. But many of them feel that way.
And I'll follow you on that, but I like you say, watching the comic from the back of the room, like I consider myself to be a dope comic. It's a handful of comics that I watch that inspire me to want to dig deeper. When I watch you perform, I'm like, I'm a funny dude. I'm like, but I ask myself, what makes Dave Chappelle Dave Chappelle? And I said this before, and like everybody don't have a Muhammad Ali moment. And when I say that, you know, Muhammad Ali, one thing that made him one of the greatest is when he stood up against, he didn't agree with the war. He said he wouldn't do it. Your situation with Comedy Central, like people that have those Muhammad Ali moments, I admire. When I watch you perform, it's never no jealousy, it's no envy. I'm like, this dude, like the way you sit in the pocket and wait for the joke. Some comedians, like, if they not laughing at the moment, like sometimes you'll stay in the pocket and the payoff is big. Like, I watch you, and Sway might say that I'm riding your dick right now.
It's a little hard, though. But I was going to say, God damn, I almost nutted.
I mean, damn, do I got to say no homo first before I say this shit?
Pause, all that.
No, but I'm saying,
I mean, your voice changes?
Yeah.
You don't even like, you
Sway,
speaking at a higher octave?
No, but I'm just saying some and I do. Going back on your question, like, I think like you have these youngins that's coming up right now, I think you should pay a certain amount of respect for the people that have paved the way. You ain't got to be on a dick where you don't want to be better than them or whatever, but being disrespectful and talking against them, I think that's fucked up. Because everybody starts somewhere, and if it wasn't for some of the doors that those people open up, you wouldn't have the opportunities.
Well, I mean that's true, but I'm just saying, like, I've heard comedians like say I'm the best, and I'll just be in the back like, well, I disagree with that.
Yeah.
But I understand why you feel that way, you know. And the other thing is about those Muhammad Ali moments is I don't recommend them. they're wildly uncomfortable moments. Like it's like everybody wants to be great, but the idea is that you gotta give something up, man. It hurts. Right. Like you gotta let go of that salt, buddy. So
yeah. You made it though, Dave. You
well,
survived
yeah. Thank God.
It's
Sway in the morning, only on Shea 45.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dave Chappelle.
Thank you. Oh boy, I'm very nervous. No pressure. During the Civil Rights Movement, I can't read what's on the teleprompter. Some about black America and white America. There's black Americans and there's white Americans. We're all one America. So if you don't mind, this is not live, is it? I imagine whatever I say, you could just edit it out. Let's try it a few ways. Lou, are you in the booth? I am. All right, good. You know what, Lou? Let's just play around with it and see if we can get it right, get this clip package on, and then let me go home, all right? You got it. All right. Ready. All right, count me in. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wu-Tang. I'm just with you, Lou. Let's do it again. We're gonna do it again. We'll get it right. Here we go, Dave. 5, 4, 3, 2. You know, when I was a comedian starting out in Washington, D.C., right here in this city, 1988, I'll never forget this. It was a comedy club owner that banned profanity from his comedy club. He said it offended his audience, and this was a cause of major concern for all the comedians in the circuit. And we all called a meeting, and we had the owners come, and it was the club owners, and it was the comedians. It was the classic labor dispute. The club owners laid out their case. There cannot be profanity in these clubs because that offends people. And there's a comedian who's still a good friend of mine to this day. He lives right here in Washington, D.C. He stood up and he said, he's black, I should tell you because it's important to the story. He says, I use profanity because I live a profane lifestyle. He says, I don't have an insect infestation in my house. I have roaches. My favorite comedians are like musicians, and the audience is their instrument. And the music they make is your laughter. And that's the laughter that I scored my entire life to. So now, some of my favorite American comedic composers. Thank you.
When I lose my job, I lose my man. Treat me like a dog. He called me a dog. Yes, he did. What did he call me? An old dog. Sometimes I wished I was a dog and he was a tree.
When you stop and think, football's a fair sport for my people. Only sport in the world a Negro can chase a white man and 40,000 people stand up and cheer him. See, in my neighborhood, the kids have a kind of a dubious reaction to that whole Santa Claus concept. They just don't believe that a white man will ride a reindeer through Harlem after midnight.
In truth, white friend, it's you that all look alike. But look at the black people around you. We're all different colors. Black walnut, burnt almond, chocolate mocha, pecan, vanilla, yellow, mellow, light, bright, and damn near white. We come from the first people on the earth. You know, the first people on the earth were black people. We the first people had thought, right? We was the first one to say, where the am I? And how do you get to Detroit?
I think maybe like 30 years ago, there was a woman that wanted to sing, and a black lady that sang opera that wanted to sing. What was her name? Mary Anderson. And this place was like segregated, and they couldn't sing here. And here we are, like not even 50 years later, a 22-year-old black man on stage getting paid to hold his. God bless America. I gotta go now. Y'all take it easy. Bye-bye.
Janelle Monáe, Will Smith, Common, Gladys Knight, and John Legend when we continue.
Yeah, man. Well, you ladies are right. To be honest with you, your lives look terrifying to me. They do, man. I know nothing about being a woman, but I know fear. Yo, I used to live in New York when I was 17, and I couldn't even pay my bills. You know what I did to make money? I used to do shows for drug dealers that wanted to clean their money up. And one time I did a real good set, and these motherfuckers called me in the back room. They gave me $25,000 in cash. I was probably 18, 19 years old. I was scared. I thanked them profusely. I put that money in my backpack. I jumped on the subway and started heading towards Brooklyn at 1 o'clock in the morning. Never been that terrified in my life. Because I never in my life had something that somebody else would want. I thought to myself, Jesus Christ, if motherfuckers knew how much money I had in this backpack, they'd kill me for it. Then I thought, holy shit. What if I had a pussy on me all the time? That's what women are dealing with. I'm gonna tell you right now. It's real talk. If them same drug dealers gave me a pussy and said, put this in your backpack and take it to Brooklyn, I'd be like, nigga, I can't accept this. I empathize, man, you know. Everybody gets mad because I say these jokes. But you understand that this is the best time to say them. More now than ever. And I know there's some comedians in the back. Motherfucker, you have a responsibility to speak recklessly. Otherwise. New York Times said that Louis C.K. jizzed on his own stomach. You know, I've busted a lot of nuts in my day. None of them were newsworthy. Shit was really gross, because they didn't just say it like I said it. They didn't just say jizz on the stomach. They said it in that fucking Pulitzer Prize winning style that the New York Times has. It was very descriptive, like, you know what I mean? Louis C.K.'s semen shot out like a volcano of misogyny, slowly drizzling down like lava, covering his freckled penis as it slowly dripped to a fiery crown of red hair. Jesus Christ, I'm trying to eat some huevos rancheros and these niggas is... And you know, the tough part, being a comedian, knowing the motherfuckers, everybody comes up to me like, did you know? Did you know what Louis was doing? No, bitch, I did not know. The fuck you think we talk about at the comedy club? Hey, nigga, how was the weekend? Great, man. I was just jerking off in faces and coming on my own stomach, having a good time. You know how this business is. No, I didn't know. They act like we sit around like Grease. Tell me more, tell me more. Then she put up a fight. Dun, 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 dun. Sorry, I don't know the choreography, but you get the point. You get the point. She was intense. But Louis was like the turning point. I mean, you know, all these allegations are terrible. Louis was the only... I shouldn't say this, but fuck it. His allegation was the only one that made me, like, laugh. Well, if you think about it... Because all his friends is reading it, and he's jerking off, and he's surprising people. He's surprising me. I just picture all the comics in comedy just reading it like, what? It's terrible. I know it's terrible. I'm sorry, ladies. You're right. You are right. But at the same time, I mean, you know what I mean? I don't know. Jesus Christ, they took everything from Louis. I was like, I don't know, it might be disproportionate. I can't tell. I can't tell. This is like where it's hard to be a man. One lady said, Louis C.K. masturbating in front of me ruined my comedy dreams. Word? Well, then I dare say, madam, you may have never had a dream. Come on, man, that's a brittle spirit. That is a brittle-ass spirit, nigga. That shit is too much. It's a grown-ass woman. You know what this shit is like? It's like COINTELPRO. You know what that is? It's a program that the FBI had under J. Edgar Hoover. In this program, one of the many things they did was they would track the sexual habits of anyone they considered an enemy of the state. It was a lip button. That's why they got all these fucking sex tapes with Martin Luther King fucking bitches. But lucky for us, he actually had a dream. You think if Louis C.K. jerked off in front of Dr. King, he'd be like, I can't continue this movement. I'm sorry, but the freedom of black people must be stopped. I didn't know this nigga was gonna pull his dick out and jerk off like this. I just thought we were gonna get a couple of drinks and chill. Show business is just harder than that. Them women sounding like, I hate to say it, y'all, they sound weak. I know it sounds fucked up, I'm not supposed to say that, but one of these ladies was like, Louis C.K. was masturbating while I was on the phone with him. Bitch, you don't know how to hang up a phone? How the fuck are you going to survive in show business if this is an actual obstacle to your dreams? I know Louis is wrong, ma'am. I'm just saying I'm held to a higher standard of accountability than these women are. Don't forget who I am. Don't forget what I am. I am a black dude.